Guy Lombardo had once famously said, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Enjoy yourself while you're still in the pink. The years go by as quickly as you wink. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Your life changed after you had a conversation with a friend in a bar when he told you that if you continue meeting your parents once a year, you're probably going to see them only 15 more times in your life. And that was this cornerstone event in your life from which point you started reinventing yourself completely. I want to start here. I want to start talking about the value of time first. I don't have the poll numbers. I'm going to go out on a limb here and put my neck on the line and say most people, myself included, we're quite flippant with our time. We spend time on things that we think are important, but many people later in life realize that they probably had reallocated, they need to reallocate their priorities, that wasted time doing things that were not as important. Let's start here. Talk about the moment of realization when you had the conversation with a friend, when you realize the value of time, and how can people shift their perspective, view time as a form of wealth, and become a time billionaire, so to speak.
Yeah, this concept of the time billionaire is a really important and central one to the book and to your life. It comes from an investor named Graham Duncan, who I think first referenced it on an episode of the Tim Ferriss Show podcast. And when I spoke to Graham, what he talked about was that he runs a big investment firm and he interviews hundreds of people, hundreds of young people that are all interested in getting into the investment world. And what he said was that they all want to become billionaires. That's their goal. They're like, oh yeah, I want to make a ton of money. I want to become a billionaire. Yeah. And he had this realization one day that they're all young and they relate to themselves as people who want to become billionaires, but they are already billionaires in one important way, which is they are time billionaires. They literally have over 1 billion seconds left in their lives. If you do the math, 1 million seconds is about 11 days. 1 billion seconds is about 30 years. Which is just like a crazy thing with math that you don't think about. It's like they feel like they're close, but they're not anywhere close. 11 days versus 30 years. So when you're 20 years old, if you're listening to this and you're in your 20s, you literally have 2 billion seconds left in your life on average. But you don't relate to time in that way. You're not actually relating to thinking about it as your most precious asset. The thing that always brings it to mind for me is like this idea of ask someone, would you trade lives with Warren Buffett? He's worth $130 billion. But I'm willing to bet you would not trade lives with him if you really thought about it, because he's 95 years old. You would never trade the time you have left for all the money that he has. And the inverse, he would probably trade all 130 billion of his dollars to have the time that you have left. So that reminds you, it's a visceral reminder that time really is the most important, it's the most precious asset that you have. And it's the only asset that really matters. And unfortunately, we have this and kind of live in this like paradox of time almost, where you don't think about time until it's too late. And then it's the only thing you think about. And so in my own life, that story you tell of hearing the number of times, the number of moments I had left with my family, that was this visceral reminder that snapped me back into the present, reminded me that if I kept on living the way I was living, I was going to wake up one day and say, what the fuck just happened?